When this committee began this odyssey some long while ago, I doubt if any of us would have imagined the tangled web that we would have uncovered, schemes and personalities. It's a little like a bad novel with many characters and subplots. Each additional hearing has raised even more questions and added to the bizarre twists of the story. Each successive hearing has also increased my concern about a political system that in these circumstances seemed to encourage and reward unethical behavior. While the committee has focused on the corruption and greed of two individuals in particular, Jack Abramoff and Michael Scanlon, I think in some ways they are symptomatic of larger problems. We only need to open the newspaper each morning to read of the latest scandals. One person has been indicted, in fact, in part for giving false information to this committee during this investigation. Our staff has received information indicating there have been other attempts to obstruct this investigation. Our staff has found reports of, or received rather, reports, questions of senior government officials interceding on behalf of friends in government decision-making. And it's my hope that when the final report is written on this investigation, it not only recounts the facts and recognizes the illegal and unethical conduct that has occurred, but that it will address what is at the heart of why we sit on this dais today. We can't change the ethics or the moral conduct of those who decide for their own reasons to break the law or make a living deceiving people, but this Congress can tighten up on the laws to ensure full disclosure and transparency, that it becomes a practice, not just a concept. I thank the chairman and his staff for their persistence in seeking the truth and making sense of the morass of information that we've received. I particularly appreciate the respectful manner in which the committee has worked with the tribes during the course of the investigation. Our focus has been on fraud and deception committed against the tribes, as the committee's congressional mandate encompasses all issues affecting Native Americans and the unique trust relationship that they share with the federal government. But it needs to be emphasized that the fraud and deception committed by Mr. Abramoff and his cohorts reached well beyond the tribes. At the committee's hearing in June of this year, we heard from witnesses about the fraud that was committed against the Choctaw tribe of the Mississippi. In preparation for that hearing, we uncovered a number of questionable transactions involving tax-exempt charitable organizations. Subsequent to that hearing, the chairman and ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee have written us requesting that this committee provide them with documents that fall within the jurisdiction of the Finance Committee about the use or potential misuse of 501c3 and 501c4 organizations. It's my understanding that we will provide those documents and pertinent correspondence following today's hearing to the Senate Finance Committee. The fraudulent activities that the investigation has discovered really almost know no boundaries, not by committee jurisdiction, geography, greed, or deception. Our staffs working together have reviewed over 500,000 documents that tell a complicated and tortured tale of influence peddling, friends betraying friends for political and monetary gain, and sadly of many innocent victims who were unwittingly snared into a web of deceit. Our focus today is on the Coshada tribe of Louisiana, a tribe that spent a stunning $37 million on Mr. Abramoff and many of his schemes. Documents suggest that while some of this money was spent on legitimate lobbying activities, an alarming amount can be tracked to the pockets and personal interests of Mr. Abramoff and Michael Scanlon. During the period from February 2001 to March 2004, when the tribe was represented by Greenberg Traurig, the Coshadas had two major goals. One, to renew its compact with the state of Louisiana, and two, to protect its financial turf by keeping out gaming competitors. To be fair, Mr. Chairman, in the beginning, the overall goals of the tribe were for the most part achieved. However, along the way, it appears that about two-thirds, or something nearing that, of the money paid by the tribe was skimmed off the top by Mr. Abramoff and Mr. Scanlon through Mr. Scanlon's company called Capital Campaign Strategies. These millions could have been directed in other ways, creating new jobs, providing health care for tribal members, and so on, but instead, it appears it helped pay for a very expensive wedding, seaside mansion, a charitable foundation, charitable, I might add, only to Mr. Abramoff. And I think that once again it calls into question judgment and ethics and the morals of those who have been involved in this. I want to note that the Indian tribes were not Mr. Abramoff's only targets. His pitch to potential clients was in fact global. For him it was a simple proposition. If they had money, he offered access and influence. 2003, he offered the President of Gabon to arrange a visit with President Bush and members of Congress and other policy opinion makers in the United States in exchange for $1 million. To close the deal, he told the President of Gabon that he was willing to travel to Western Africa at the conclusion of his visit to Scotland with congressmen and senators I take there each year. It's possible they'll want to join me in Gabon, which would be an extra bonus. That arrangement was not concluded, but it shows the global reach and the interests of influence.